Today, one cannot speak of an economy without mention of tourism as a major contributor. And of course, tourism is fast becoming a strong pillar in national development. Day in, day out, many people travel, be it within or out of their home countries, to make new experiences, to immerse themselves in other cultures, basically to try out new things. But what effect does tourism have on an economy? How does it influence development in a nation much bigger in a continent and even bigger in the world? How does Africa benefit from the influx of tourism? In today's episode of the Daily Trend Season 3 on New World TV Info English, my co-panelists and I will try to delve into and explore the impact of tourism as a tool for development in Africa.
Tourism, in my understanding, is the activities of people traveling to stay in other places out of their usual environment for pleasure, for relaxation, and for business purposes. Okay. That's what I understand by tourism.
So adding to what Precious have said, tourism is the act and process of leaving home in pursuit of recreation, pleasure, and enjoying making use of the conditions being rendered unto you.
I think we can also make mention that tourism dates back a long time, many years, and has had antecedents. Taken, for instance, pilgrimage. Yes. People travel. Take an example of people traveling to Mecca for Hajj. Yeah. And with the evolution of its antecedents has come a few types that we have come to know. And basically we know of domestic and international tourism.
Yes. And with the international tourism, so we can also talk about the inbound and the outbound tourism. Where, for instance, for the outbound tourism, we can talk about people leaving, for instance, Africa to other countries for business purposes or for relaxation or for sight viewing.
Sure. So I can leave Africa or where I'm staying now and go to Canada or go to France to just enjoy myself for pleasure.
Yes.
Sure.
So if I understand what you're saying, for me, an African inbound will be if someone came from outside Africa to see.
That is coming from Europe or other European countries to Africa.
So
that
just
makes it,
see our culture. Yeah.
That makes it clear to us that international tourism is traveling from one country to another.
Yes.
All right. Yes. So the domestic will then be
in the same country. Me moving from Accra to Cape Coast to view the Kakum National Park, or me moving from Cape Coast to Accra to see the Moli National Park. So the international deals within a same country.
All right. So I think we can now, having spoken briefly about the definition and what types are involved, we can now roll into the importance and impact on the economy.
Yes. Yeah, so tourism to me creates culture awareness. If I leave Africa, for instance, to go to India, we know India has they have cultures, their dance alone. Me watching Indian movie makes me feel like going there to view their culture. So it sells their culture out. And maybe an Indian man or an American come to Africa to view our culture. You know, Africans, most especially in take Ghana, we have lots of culture. We have the Voltarians, their culture, the Akan. Sure. So they come in to see our culture, and we intend display our culture and selling our culture to them.
I now agree with you. Initially, when you said an African traveling to India, I didn't agree one bit.
Why?
I mean, which continent has richer culture than Africa?
It's
is simply impossible.
Sure.
When you are talking about cultural display, it is in Africa.
Yes. When it comes to nature, for instance, with the like the Kakum National Park, when you go there alone, the place alone would even make you want to stay there. Don't want to even go back to your home country.
It's evergreen.
Yes, you go there fresh, and the freshness of air alone can.
People
and it's
are
even
always
a medicine for us.
People are always hunting for new species.
Yeah.
People are cutting down trees day in, day out, and with the growth of tourism, the government is now forced to put measures in place to preserve some of these places.
Yes.
And I am happy about that because up until I traveled to see Muli National Park, I never knew elephants were in Ghana.
Wow.
I had no idea. And
Sure, because when I watch Indian movie, they mostly use elephant. King
Exactly.
sits on elephant. Yeah, and then if you do something and you want to really save yourself, they'll ask you to fight with the elephant, knowing that the elephant will conquer you. So,
See,
I agree with him
with
because we
people
thinking
poaching
elephants
and things,
Sure.
if this preservation hadn't been put in place, definitely there's no way I would have seen it.
And also with the crocodile, I think Pagal crocodile
Absolutely.
plays in the northern sector over there. So we have this perception that when you get close to these reptiles, they can eat you up, and
Well,
but when
they can.
they
but
can.
when they have eaten, it's cool to get close to them.
Yeah. So there was this one time I went there and I had a feel like I had a feel of a crocodile. I was like, wow, is this how a crocodile was? It looks smaller in the water, but when it came out, it looks very huge. And
I hope it didn't cut your hands off.
Oh no! I was very careful with that because me myself, I'm really afraid of them.
Alrighty, and then we can talk about the influence of the tourism on recreational and cultural facilities that are built, and these are used domestically these days. You talk about Derba grounds. We didn't have Derba grounds in some days past because festivals would just be held on open air in the streets, at best in the market.
Yes.
But now tourists come to see what is going on. The government is forced to put something up. So they put up a nice structure, a Derba ground. It's even used for traditional council meetings these days. It is important for general social life and well-being that tourism is creating these things for us. And then again, we have to talk about its impacts directly on our economy.
Okay. Yeah, so with the impacts, we can talk about infrastructure development. Okay, so whereby measures are being put in place, especially with our hotels. When tourists come from outside the country to our country, or let's say Africa, for instance, they should have a place to sleep, a place to stay, a place they can put their head. So with the infrastructure development, governments can put in place infrastructures, that is hotels or maybe guest houses and other places for our visitors to also come and feel at home.
Absolutely.
Because when people come when I move outside to view or for a business trip, or people come into our country, we cannot just say, because they don't have a place to sleep. So definitely when these infrastructures are there, they can feel relaxed and feel like coming back also. And also we can also talk of the foreign exchange. When people are coming to when I'm moving to a different country to have a business trip or to just to view their tourist attraction, before I get there, I need to book online a hotel, everything, and I'll pay in my currency. So by the time it gets to the host country, they will take it in exchange. That brings lots of benefits to the host country.
And following from foreign exchange, it has a direct impact on the gross domestic product, that's the GDP. And according to the UN World Tourism Organization, from 2005, there has been an estimated increase in GDP for nothing at all, not less than 3% and up to 10% increase each year. And up to 2019, Ghana alone realized over $1 billion in gross domestic product grace to tourism alone.
When people are complaining of unemployment, by the time we complete school, we can also, the tourism sector can just take us, but we're also skilled and trained personnel.
And it's like with our language, for instance, we have this, we get people coming from the Francophone countries to our places, and with the languages, not even only the Francophone countries, the Germans, and with the language, students also can, it can create employment for them and the tourists.
And I think it is important for us to note that between 2016 and 2017, the tourism sector in Ghana employed not less than 800,000 Ghanaians.
Oh, wow.
From pilots to air hostesses to hotel managers, drivers, over 800,000
so even cleaners can also take care of the places too.
100%. So you see, our talk of unemployment, economic stress, tourism is doing a lot in that sector. If only we would take time and look at it and try to build upon the tourism sector. And then to add to all that we've been saying, we've spoken at quite at length about the positive impact, but I think tourism is also taking a slight negative toll on our environment.
Yes.
Sure. Because there's another that too much of everything is no good. Definitely to have a negative aspect.
Definitely.
For instance, when we talk of tourism, for instance, we have infrastructures. We ladies, for instance, we don't like to use public toilets. So I go to a place, or precious go to a place, and there's public toilet, like people have used it. Instead of me sitting on the seat, I'll end up squatting. Definitely the water closet to break. So the money that the tourist sites are getting for funds and to help in other projects, they'll end up using it for maintenance.
Yes. And also when we talk about, to add to what you just said, when tourists also come around, when they go to big places, like for instance the Kakum National Park or the Mole National Park, it's a park, so people come there, sit and drink and eat and relax too. So people end up littering the place, which is not a plus for the tourism sector, because when it happens like that, they have to get more people. As a park like this, even though they have a number of cleaners to clean their place, they have to hire more people, that would clean up the place. And with that one, so we can also talk about a high revenue or high funds for that one.
Okay, and we can also mention the demands on our health services.
Sure, the demands of our health services.
When it's pressure on the health service like that, it follows that the local tax base will suffer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even taking, for instance, now we are not in normal times.
Exactly.
So if someone wants to come outside to have a view of our culture and everything, or we also going outside, because we're not in normal time, the government will provide special services for them. So the government will end up using more money in there, because they are foreigners. We cannot just let them come in and go out with disease or other kinds. So we need to portray ourselves and carry ourselves also.
Yes.
Our government will provide more hospitals, beds, or even especially hospitals for people coming outside for tourism.
With this COVID too, that is also in season, during when you come to like for instance Africa, for instance, there are measures that are put in place, like for COVID test.
Sure.
So the governments have to put in place that there will be more test kits available, because I remember there was this time that there was shortage of test kits at the airports, and people had to be quarantined for some days before they could go for the test.
Oh well, at this point I want us to share just a little story of tourism we've experienced ourselves.
Sure.
Well, my best was my travel to Mole National Park, so that is off the table.
Okay, I went to the Kakum National Park in the university, our first year. In order to welcome us, they sent us to the Kakum National Park. We went to enjoy the greenness and the freshness of the nature, and also the canopy walkway, which was so interesting, because you'll be walking and
it's scary too.
It's like, because when you look downstairs, when you look down, there are animals and you feel scared as if you were coming to fall down, and the nets were so weak, like as if you just fall in a minute. People were just shouting, screaming, "Mommy, come and help me!" A whole, it was so interesting.
Yeah.
You have to go 7 times. Just imagine, and when you go, you can't tell because people are coming, so you need to continue your journey.
Yeah.
So
and for me, it was the castle. The castle in the Kakum National Park. So the castle, I had the opportunity to go on I went to the dungeons.
Sure.
And they
so
locked me in the dungeon for just a minute and I couldn't breathe.
Oh no, but at least now they have brought windows there. Because
Yes.
at first when the slaves used to be there was no window. They'll punish you and you'll be there like no air, nothing heat.
But
It was
even
so-
up
She
to
went
now.
with the windows.
Yeah,
and
but
she still had that problem.
Yes, even up
Just
to now, you
imagine.
go there and they just lock you in there. They just close the door for just they
5
just close,
minutes.
not even 5 minutes, 1 minute. The place, the stench alone is very bad. So we say that this was what our forefathers were going through. They had to, in that place, they had to pee inside, they have to ease themselves inside, they have to eat over there, so which was very,
Personally,
very...
I do not like the castle because it just makes me sad. Anytime I go to the castle, I'm sad. It's unfortunate.
I remember once I was in SS3, we went to the castle. I was offering history, so we went to the castle. Then from there, we went to a place in central region where the slaves used to be, where they used to line up, they used to lash there. When you go there, you just weep. It was so. I read that the castle was far much more better than that place.
Because at least the castle, you have a place. The only time you come out is when maybe the governor wants to use you. They were using our ladies, our women for their
pleasure.
Yes,
sure. That makes sense to say.
When the president or the governor, as you say, or the master want to have a lady for himself, you call all the ladies out. You
make a selection.
Then you go and take your bath, and then that even ended up. And when you have the names like Van der Poel and the rest, because they give birth to people. Sure. Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about tourism and the importance and the impact it has on us. Okay, so when we're going for a quick break. When we come back, we'll So, welcome back from the break. Before going, we were talking about tourism, the importance and the impact it has on us. Now, we are going to delve more into some of the challenges the tourism sector is facing, the solutions, and the way forward.
Okay, so before we enter full head as team into the challenges and solutions, it has certain inadequacies. Okay,
yes.
The sector, I won't say lack, but the sector is inadequate.
Is too strong.
Yeah,
because they already have it, but it's not enough.
Exactly,
yes.
And that leads to the challenges. So I think first of all we can talk about the inadequate legal backing.
Okay.
For the plans of the tourism sector.
Sure.
Because take the minister for instance.
Okay.
I don't think the minister is there doing nothing.
Definitely he's doing his work.
Exactly. And then he proposes plans and it gets tangled in a long legal banter. Okay. That alone would delay processes.
Sure.
Or delay is if at all the processes will go through.
It will have a lot of processes, because if the minister is sending it to the president, then there are other ministers of health sector and the rest. So before they even attend to yours, you have to make lots of calls, so many things, even writing letters just for them to approve of your suggestion.
And also, with what you said, you have to join a queue for some time. Sometimes you have to even be on them. Sometimes they might end up forgetting.
Sure.
So you have to always be on them, and also.
And so there's also inadequate manpower constraint. Not that they don't have skilled personal people, they do have, but for instance, you are offering languages on campus and you complete school. If I go to this company and go, they are going to pay me much more as compared to me entering into tourism aspect, because there are already people there. I'm going to meet my senior, but with this company, I just came out and they need maybe a German translator or a French translator. Between the two, you definitely choose the company and leave the tourist aspect.
Yes.
And when there's demand of people, they end up taking people that are skilled in different domains, but they'll come in and their skills doesn't really match with that. About what would they do? So
these days, even going on tours can be boring, because the tour guide there does not even know the history of a place.
Doesn't even know how to welcome you. He just looking at your face.
If he knows the history, now he's having challenges making it look fun for you, because history itself is boring.
I'm telling you,
history in itself is
boring. Taking the castle, for instance.
Sit down and learn history. Just take a history book and read. History in itself is boring.
Taking the castle, for instance, the years, the date, especially.
Exactly. You have to keep all that in mind.
You end up confusing them.
If you have a tour guide who has a way of making those things fun.
Yes.
I don't know how to do it. So if you employ me into that sector, it's a waste.
Sure.
But people go to school, learn those things. And that is the problem now. We do not have enough of it.
Sure.
We do not have enough of it, and it's posing problems to the sector. So we can also mention that
inadequate funds.
Exactly.
Sure.
Inadequate.
Funds.
I like that you mentioned that. We've done a good job of keeping governments out of the conversation so far, but I think government has to come and play in a little, because it is the government that pushes funds.
Okay.
Apart from the revenue they will be getting from people coming in from outside and even our own people going there, the government is the one going to push funds into the system.
Sure.
Yeah.
From the national
funds.
budget.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Because the tourist people also pay a tax, a quota to the government. And so when we even get the fund, when people come in and pay for, like, I want to give a donation to this tourist attraction, they will not come and beg me before. And I don't know what they need. So I'll give them something that I can. And maybe that money will not be enough for them. So the government will have to come and support it. Because as we said, like the negative effect, maintenance, the money that the tourist attraction or the tourist people get, they used to maintain whatever that they have and repair things, because if the place is not kept neat, nobody would want to come there and they definitely lose funds.
I believe so.
Sure.
And also we can talk about the lack of professionalism. Okay, so as one of the negative effects of tourism, whereby people they don't really get people to we don't really get people to do the job as you.
I think the main problem with that is institutional arrangement.
Yes.
Sure.
Because if you work in a private sector, if a private person builds something and employs people, those people are on the job. They are sharp.
Sure.
But the government, you realize there's a little laxity. But
because they are, after all, their salary will not even come in, and it's not even up to their expectation. But for the private something, it's someone's own sweat. So the person will take good care of in order to get more income.
100%.
And even with that, crumple sometimes brings confusion amongst them, because this one will say, yes, this is it's my money I use for this, and the government will say, oh, since it's a place that also generates money for the economy too, he wants to. So in that way, it brings confusion.
Sure.
See, if there had been any slight cohesion between the government and the private sector, I believe things would have been much smoother for the tourism sector. Okay, so at this point, I want us to open the discussion just a little bit. Okay. Do you think that Africa is harnessing tourism to its maximum capacity? Personally, for me, I think no.
Me too. I also think no.
Yeah,
Because back in the senior high school, I read history, and our history teacher made us aware that when our ex-president, Osajifo Kwame Nkrumah, may his soul rest in perfect peace, when he was there, he was making a project that he even took borrowed money from the outsiders to help. He wanted to build a tower, a very big tower with a restaurant. So when you sit on it, it will be swinging and you can see every part of the country. But when our ex-president died, the next government that came in power didn't continue his hard work.
That's a problem we have with Africa.
Sure, they didn't continue his hard work, and the money that he even took to do everything became a blast, and we even had to pay for it. Because when you borrow money, you have to pay with interest.
Yes, and also we say that there's this quote that Africans, we don't really have nice infrastructure, we don't have nice building. I think even if the government should have taken over and built that tower late Osajifo wanted, would have nice money. Yes, we really have nice buildings.
Everybody want to go the restaurant that you be swinging.
Because it's only in Europe that they have these tall towers, nice buildings out there.
But if you've been to Accra recently, you see that Accra skyline has become really beautiful.
Sure. They've really done a good
increase
job.
Of skyscrapers, towers, we are having a lot of that these days. So I don't think that's necessarily too much of a problem. I think the problem with Africa and tourism is that our people do not know what it entails.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Because a friend of mine, Nigerian, who was asked what he does for leisure, and he just goes like, Nigerians do not do useless things. Well, I don't know if it is all Nigerians. I don't.
People
but
think
that is-
relaxing is something. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
We're just taking pleasure. I'm going to the beach with my family to enjoy. People think I don't have time. I'm just wasting my time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
people might also say, why will I waste my money go on?
But no, we are
Exactly.
human beings. We need
tourism.
to rest. We need to relax our brain and prepare for the following week.
I doubt that's how all Nigerians feel. But for him, that particular person, he says Nigerians do not do useless
Maybe
things.
it depends on where he came from.
Exactly.
too.
Yes.
Sure.
And
Okay, so-
what we also have to do is we should educate them. We get it.
She has started delving into solutions.
Yeah, some of the, so as we talk about the challenges, we also have to bring the solutions on board. So I think education should really go into that, because if we don't educate the people on and what it entails, people would, as you say, think tourism is just something, a waste of time, or
that's
maybe a waste
because
of money.
Lots of people don't really understand the concept of tourism. Tourism is not only for business. My business or the company in which I'm working has sent me to go and do something.
Yeah.
But as I said earlier on, pleasure, I'll go with my family. Maybe it's the beach, excursion, something. Yeah, because the children like, for instance, now children of nowadays like these kinds of things. Always being indoors, book. They'll feel
It's
bored.
stressful.
Yes.
It's very stressful. So at least vacation, we go out. We can go to Europe to just enjoy ourselves and come back. They'll feel so happy. So we need to educate the our people on that, especially our parents, because our grandparents to have the notion that going there is a waste of time. Because
Yes.
it entails money. I'll waste money.
Yes, why will I waste money whilst you can
Exactly.
stay at
I'll
home,
pay
watch
something.
TV,
I
or
can
read your
even cook
books.
at home and eat rather than going to a restaurant and going to
Exactly.
eat.
And advertisement. Okay.
Okay.
The African and advertisements are not best of friends.
We are so poor in it.
Very
And
bad.
advertisement, I believe, will solve the problem of inadequate investment.
Sure.
Okay, because no foreign investor will try to put his money where there's no known track record of success.
So
Yes,
people
that's
don't
very
really
true.
come there. Sure.
So if the government or the states, let's leave the government out a little, if the states now put effort into beautifying the places we already have,
And we
creating
advertise
new
this. We
ones.
have now internet,
Exactly.
everything. So I can be here now, just your tourist attraction in Europe or in France. I'll be so eager to go. So vacation, I'll just go there to enjoy. So in Africa, we can also beautify what we have, making it so rich. They'll end up
That will
coming
attract
here.
And also
local
putting it on the
stakeholders.
internet, now 21st century, I won't say children, but in the 21st century world or era like this, people are really into phones, technology, and this thing. So even with advertisements, we can, as you said, beautify the places and put it on the net, so that if maybe someone is just surfing through the net and sees this one, and say, wow, where is this place? And the person would research more into this and come to
I think
the-
our problem in Africa here is that most of us don't want to go to our tourist attraction here because definitely it's not nice. We don't even see it on the net as compared to the Europeans,
Yes.
how they advertise their own. So
Dubai
if-
is on everyone's phone.
I'm telling you. So if you advertise it well, even our local people, we talk of domestic tourism, right? Our local people can also, I'm talking of local people, right? We in the same locality
Yes.
Okay.
will go there to just enjoy. Like someone will leave the north and go to Cape Coast just to see the Kakum National Park.
in the castles too.
So advertisement help for we ourselves in the society too.
And I think our states can put more into the improvement of infrastructure.
Yes.
Sure.
And when I say improvement of infrastructure, I want to base myself on roads
Okay.
because I don't
Our
know.
roads are very poor.
Yes, even to Kakum, for
Even-
a stretch of about 30 minutes, the ride is terribly bumpy.
Yes.
You get down to back pains.
Just
That's
Even to
just
the
one tourist
Mole
site.
National Park, to the road leading to
Exactly.
is very
just imagine,
bad.
I'm from the northern side and I found a friend Precious and she tells me, oh, there is this tourist attraction, is nice. And from the north to is not a small journey. I'll sit in
A
car
full day's journey.
only for me to get there and the road, even if the tourist attraction is nice, I will not be moved to come back because
Yes.
the road in
It's
which
very
I'll
bad.
travel, by the time I get there, my neck, my whole body, which is very, very poor.
Well, I believe we can also talk about, just in passing, the high cost of the destinations.
Okay.
Because for our local people, it's not a problem for foreigners. It's not a problem for somebody, an American, to come spend money on just seeing Kakum.
Sure.
But for our local people, taking a tour there is expensive.
It's very, very expensive.
Bus fare, you have to pay at the gate. To eat something, you have to pay. There's a lot of pay involved. And for our local people, our citizens,
money
it is
a
quite
problem.
difficult.
Yes.
Even for the bus fare, I'll leave my house, take it back. The bus will not alight me just in front of the
Where
tourist
you are
attraction.
going.
And
Taxi fares.
getting taxi to, they'll tell you that people are not good there. If I go there, I'll not get people to come back. So dropping the money we do tell you you just feel like taking bus back and going back to where you are. You need to negotiate. And for instance, if you are not, for instance, I'm from the north and I come to Cape Coast and I can't really speak the tree, and I'm going there to Kakum National Park and I need a taxi, knowing that I can't speak the tree, he will definitely cheat me. Even if they're dropping his cents, he will tell me 30 cedis, because definitely I'll be forced to pay, which is very...
He will say that, yes, you don't understand the language, and he can even dupe you.
So the important thing is, I think the state has to put measures in place to make it more accessible, more affordable for our local people.
Sure. Okay. So we have come to the end of the program. We were talking of tourism. And we also gave a definition. One of the definitions we gave is that it's the act and process of leaving your home in pursuit of relaxation, recreation, and pleasure, and also making good use of the resources there or the services that are being rendered to us. We also delve into the types of tourism. We have domestic tourism and we also have international tourism. And the international, we also said we have the inbound and the outbound. We also made good use of the impact of tourism, and we said it makes culture awareness. Our cultures is being sold out and people will come to our country, or we also go into their country to see their culture. We also talk of the challenges that these tourism sectors face. Yeah, we talk of the challenges. People don't really understand the notion of tourism. There's also inadequate infrastructure, and we also talked of the problem these tourism sectors are also facing. They are facing inadequate funds, because money is really important. If I get money, or the tourism attraction don't have money, they can't beautify what they have for people to come. And you see, the money that they get, they use it for maintenance and to make sure that the place is so neat that next time people will also come. So this is the Daily Trend Season 3. On New World TV Info English. Don't forget to get interactive on our YouTube channel. That is the Daily Trend at the New World Place, and also on Facebook, the Daily Trend TDT. Thank you and enjoy your day.